The Harper family, the wealthiest clan in the city, with a lineage spanning 8 generations of only sons, suddenly posted a job listing that shocked everyone. They were hiring a daughter-in-law with an exorbitant offer. Have a son, and you'd be rewarded with $5 million. Have a daughter, $3 million. All you had to do was give birth, and the Harpers would take care of everything else. When I heard this, I couldn't help but secretly rejoice. This was my chance to strike it rich. My first pregnancy resulted in triplets, all boys. Mrs. Harper, the family matriarch, threw a lavish celebration that lit up the entire city, her face beaming so widely you could barely see her eyes. The second time, I gave birth to quadruplets, 2 boys and 2 girls. Mrs. Harper managed a faint smile, still showing polite concern. But by the third time, when I delivered another set of triplet boys, she was speechless, unable to muster even a hint of a smile. From then on, whenever she met someone, she'd sigh dramatically. Why am I still alive? This family is cursed with fertility. You could say our family has a genetic predisposition for large broods. My grandmother had 10 children, 8 boys and 2 girls. Back in her day, she stubbornly kept giving birth until she turned a once wealthy landlord family into one scraping by. My mother had twins, a boy and a girl, and wanted more but couldn't afford it, so she stopped after 1 pregnancy, filled with regret. After reflecting on 2 generations of experience, my mother gave me stern advice. When choosing a husband, pick someone handsome and rich. Our family's fertility is no joke. Twins are standard, triplets are average, and occasionally popping out 4 or 5 kids isn't unheard of. Choose a good-looking man so your kids are pleasant to look at, and a wealthy one so they have something to fall back on. Don't repeat your grandmother's mistake and accidentally bankrupt someone's family. I took her words to heart, which is why I stayed single all these years. That is, until a few days ago, when the Harpers, the richest family in town, posted their jaw-dropping ad for a daughter-in-law. The rewards were clear: $5 million for a son, $3 million for a daughter. Just give birth, and they'd handle the rest. The sign-up line was like a festival, and I, caught up in the excitement, registered too. I breezed through every round of their selection process, clinched first place in the final, and held the contract in my hands. I called my mom, bursting with excitement. "Mom, we're about to be rich." She took a deep breath and said, "Oh, honey, take it slow. Don't bankrupt them." On my first day, Mrs. Harper gave me a cold, appraising look and laid out the terms. The Harper family has had only sons for 8 generations, and continuing the line has been a struggle. Don't blame me for favoring boys. If you give us a son, we'll register your marriage on the spot and pay you in cash. If you can't deliver, you'll get a consolation payment and be sent back where you came from. I thumped my chest confidently. "Don't worry, ma'am, I'll get the job done." Mrs. Harper nodded approvingly and waved for someone to bring out the father-to-be. Enter Caleb Harper. Sharp eyebrows, chiseled features, long legs, and an 8-pack that peeked through his shirt, exuding unintentional allure. In any other setting, he'd be the heartthrob of any crowd. But right now, he looked a bit pitiful. Bound in red silk, carried in by 8 bodyguards, still struggling and yelling, "Let me go. You think I'm some stud for breeding? Get lost. I don't touch women." He shouted about freedom in marriage and love until his voice grew hoarse with anger. It dawned on me why Mrs. Harper had to post such a high-stakes ad. Their only son, the 8th generation heir, was gay. What a heartbreaking twist. Mrs. Harper looked at him with pained eyes. "Caleb, I know what you're chasing. I'm not some backward tyrant. Just give me 1 child, and you can roam the world, love whoever you want, men, trans people, anyone." "I'll accept it." Caleb thrashed harder. "Stop misunderstanding me. I don't like men." Mrs. Harper's face grew even sadder. "Oh, I get it. You like trans people. That's a unique taste, but they can't bear children. Just indulge me this once, please." Caleb roared. "I said stop twisting my words." Mrs. Harper, wiping tears, didn't want to argue further. She pointed at me. "This is the woman I painstakingly chose to be the mother of my grandchildren, your future wife. I know your tastes are particular, but she's a good girl. If she can't give you sweet love, at least she won't let you feel wronged." Caleb gave a bitter laugh. "It's pointless, Mom. No matter who it is, they're not the one I want. You can bind my body, but my soul will resist for the sake of my principles." Ignoring his protests, Mrs. Harper pulled me closer. "This is my wayward son, Caleb. With him tied up like this tonight, will it still work?" I scanned him from head to toe. Handsome, disheveled, exuding a forbidden charm despite the red silk. The important parts were still accessible. I lifted my chin confidently. "No problem, mother-in-law. No matter how tough, we'll make it work." Mrs. Harper nodded, satisfied, then scolded her son. "Look at her, then look at yourself." Caleb, who'd been struggling nonstop, suddenly went quiet, occasionally glancing at me, his ears turning red. That night, to ensure absolute security, Caleb was tied tightly to the bed. After all his daytime struggling, he was surprisingly docile by night. I figured he'd accepted reality. Rubbing my hands eagerly, I thought, imagine this. A tall, cold, handsome guy tied to a bed at my mercy, and I get paid for it. Just the thought was thrilling. "I don't have much experience," I said. "If it hurts, let me know." I began undressing decisively. Caleb's face flushed, his eyes darting as he scrambled for a topic. "Mia, do you have someone you love?" My hands froze mid-motion. As a professional, I knew to answer the client's questions seriously. I reviewed my memories and shook my head firmly. "Nope, I don't." Caleb let out a soft sigh. "I do." I was down to my underwear by then, but suddenly I couldn't continue. He had someone he loved. Wasn't it wrong to proceed? I climbed onto him hesitantly. "I didn't know you had a partner. If you don't want this, we can stop. It's just a few $1,000,000, but I have a conscience." Caleb's face burned redder. He coughed lightly. "It's fine. Go ahead." I tore open his shirt, but kept up the polite chatter. "What about your partner? Won't they mind?" If it were me, I'd probably be okay with it. I undid his pants, both of us bearing our true feelings, but I fumbled, unsure how to proceed. Caleb, panting, gave a strained smile. "Untie me and I'll take over." With at least $8 million riding on twins, I worried he'd bolt if I freed him. I gritted my teeth and pushed through. It hurt so much I screamed in despair. Caleb sucked in a sharp breath. "Untie me, Mia, or you'll get hurt." I complied because, honestly, it was excruciating. Money isn't easy to earn, and this job was the kind where you smile through the pain. The moment I untied him, Caleb flipped me over, turned off the light, and got to work. That first night on the job began as my consciousness faded, with one hazy thought: Caleb Harper is way too intense. Only weak men dominate women. Real men dominate men. The next morning, I woke to an empty bed. My phone had a new contact, Caleb, with a message. "Had an urgent company matter. Call me if you need anything." I was touched. Finding such a considerate client was rare. But before I could reply, my phone rang. It was my best friend Sarah, screaming, "Mia, where the hell are you? We have a meeting with Horizon Corp today. If we lose this deal, I'll have your head." I glanced at the clock. 10 a.m. I bolted upright. Exhausted from the night's work, I'd nearly forgotten my actual job. After college, Sarah and I started a small advertising firm, and the Horizon deal was our biggest yet, worth $1 million. Sarah had drilled into me that this contract was our ticket to the big leagues. I raced to the office, but was 3 minutes late. The receptionist blocked me coldly. "You're late. Please reschedule." Sarah ground her teeth. "You'd better have a good excuse. Where were you yesterday?" I mumbled, Took a side gig." She laughed icily. What side gig is more important than a $1 million deal? I shrugged. Well, it's worth at least $8 million. The elevator opened and a group emerged, led by a strikingly handsome man with a commanding presence, none other than Caleb Harper. Sarah's eyes lit up like headlights. She yanked me aside and flashed a dazzling smile at him. Mr. Harper, I'm Sarah from Starlight Advertising. Please review our proposal. Caleb didn't even glance her way. His assistant blocked her. Please make an appointment. Mr. Harper is busy. My phone buzzed with a text from Caleb. Be home in 20 minutes. What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? I watched Sarah groveling and Caleb striding away, then hesitantly raised my hand. I need to talk. Caleb stopped instantly, his gaze deep, his Adam's apple bobbing. My face flushed as a pang of jealousy hit me. Damn, that trans person he loves must be something else. He reached out. Hand it over. Sarah eagerly offered the proposal, but Caleb meant my contract. He flipped to the last page, signed it without reading, and handed it back. Go home and wait for me. The entire Horizon staff turned to stare, their eyes screaming. Who is she? I felt uneasy, but Sarah was ecstatic. I told you, persistence wins deals. Tonight I'm treating you and your old college buddy Matt to celebrate. The stares escalated to, wow, the CEO's been cuckolded. Caleb spun around, standing protectively in front of me, his lips curling into a half-smile, half-snarl, his eyes glinting like a hungry wolf. I love a good celebration. Count me in. Sarah nodded enthusiastically. Yes, absolutely. That night, at a roadside taco stand, the four of us squeezed around a small table. Caleb's long legs kept brushing against mine, each touch loaded with intent. He smirked at Matt, my college friend. You've looked after Mia all these years. Quite the effort. Matt, stone-faced, pushed Caleb's hand off me. No need for pleasantries. I've cared for Mia without ulterior motives, unlike some who get too handsy in public. Caleb pulled me closer, his tone teasing. My Mia gets shy easily. No need to broadcast her single status, right? Matt scoffed. I'm not just anyone. Mia and I were close for 4 years in college. I'm practically her boyfriend. Caleb's eyes narrowed. You mean male friend? Fix your tongue before you speak. Matt clenched his fists. What's it to you? Their glares sparked like a showdown. Sarah, munching on chips, cheered, Fight, fight! I yanked her arm. Stop fanning the flames. Who celebrates with street tacos? She shrugged. Caleb picked the place. With his wealth, he's probably never seen a taco stand before. She swore she wouldn't have dared suggest it without his approval. Then she shoved a fish taco at me, grinning. Spill it. What's going on with you and the CEO? Before I could answer, Caleb swiped the taco from my plate, smiling gently. You're preparing to get pregnant. You shouldn't eat this. The table froze. Sarah recovered first. Wait, you're married? I shook my head, whispering, Not married, but we've... You know. Sarah nearly choked. What? You're doing adult modeling now? The celebratory mood died. Caleb drove me home, his face stormy. I sensed his anger. Fair enough. Yesterday we signed a high-stakes contract for a child, and today I'm cozying up to another guy. I reassured him. Mr. Harper, don't worry. I'm professional. I promised your mom I'd stay focused. He stopped abruptly, glaring. So I'm just the client to you? This is just a contract? I blinked. What else would it be? We've only slept together once. Should I be catching feelings already? His question unnerved me. Mia, you're heartless, he snapped, storming off. I chased after him. Wait, do you want to add emotional services? I can do that, but it'll cost extra. Love's tricky and hurts the heart. Caleb's voice was icy. No need. I'm not desperate enough to buy love with a contract. He shoved me into the car, slammed the door, and said he'd walk home. I called after him. I don't know how to drive. He froze, turned back, face dark as coal, and moved me to the passenger seat. "Learn to drive," he growled, "so you're not left crying on the side of the road." Back home, he was still fuming, retreating to his room. Being the client, he could afford to sulk, but I had a job to do. I showered, slipped into his bed, and cooed, "Boss, have mercy on your employee." Caleb's cheeks reddened, but his face stayed cold. He wrapped me in the blanket like a burrito. "Listen, Mia, even if I'm the last of my line, I won't force someone who loves another." I mumbled, "You've got it wrong. Matt's just a friend. Your family's bloodline won't be tainted." Caleb laughed bitterly, pinching my cheeks. "This has nothing to do with that idiot Matt." He stared into my eyes. "It's you. I want you to have only me in your heart." I froze, then got mad. "What? I just want to do my job. Having kids is my specialty. Now you want real feelings? Your type is trans people. Should I get a sex change to match? Has anyone heard of a woman turning into a man to date someone who likes trans people?" I shoved off the blanket and stormed downstairs to Mrs. Harper. "Ma'am, Caleb's not cooperating. He's flipping the script. The fastest way to handle a difficult client is to escalate." 5 minutes later, 8 burly guards marched in, red ropes in hand, and tied Caleb to the bed with practiced ease. He roared, "Mia, you're ruthless." I smirked. Never underestimate a contractor's drive to get paid. That night, I worked tirelessly, using my skills to fully conquer the client. Exhausted, I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke, Caleb had somehow freed himself, and I was nestled in his arms, my head on his arm like a pillow. His face was close, his voice cool. "Awake?" I jolted upright. "Sorry, I was so tired I passed out. Did I hurt your arm?" His face flushed, and he turned away, mumbling, "It's fine." He dressed, washed up, and left without a word. For 10 days he didn't come home or send a single message. Mrs. Harper, frantic, followed my mom to the company, ready to drag him back. I stopped her. "Ma'am, don't tie him up again. Kidnapping him from work would really make him a breeding stud." I went to Horizon Court myself, but the receptionist blocked me. "Mr. Harper is with an important guest." I noticed her pitying look. Whispers floated around. "That's her, dumped by the CEO in 10 days. Rich people are ruthless." Someone was stealing my job? Unacceptable. I called Mrs. Harper on speaker. "Move," she barked. The receptionist stepped aside, furiously texting her gossip group. "Drama alert. Old flame versus new flame in the CEO's office." We marched to Caleb's office, and as expected, there stood a stunning woman, long, wavy hair, perfect curves, breathtakingly beautiful. My prepared speech evaporated. I could only squeak, "Hi." She turned, flashing a dazzling smile, but her voice was rough, like sandpaper. "Hey, little sister, I'm Victor Steele." My heart sank. The rumors were true. Caleb did love a trans person, a gorgeous one at that. If I were a guy, I'd fall for him too. Caleb was heartless, keeping me in his heart while his was elsewhere. It was unfair, unprofessional. Victor asked gently, "You here for Caleb?" Guilt overwhelmed me. I was the other woman, stealing him right in front of his true love. "I came to get him to go home," I mumbled. Victor smiled graciously. "Wait a bit. He's in a meeting." I sat, consumed by shame but curious. "How did you and Caleb meet?" Victor smiled warmly. "Call me sister. I like it. We met studying abroad, been friends for 5 years. I gasped. 5 years? Their love must be unbreakable. No wonder Caleb resisted so fiercely when tied up. Victor's smile grew dreamy. Caleb said I'm his one and only. I felt like a monster, tearing apart a perfect couple to be the mother of his child. "Wait here," Victor said. "The meeting's long." Struggling internally, I asked, if, hypothetically, Caleb had someone else, would you be sad? Victor paused, then said earnestly, I'd step back. I've known him for years. I don't want an ugly ending. I stood, bowing deeply. I'm so sorry. Victor blinked. Do we know each other? But I'd made my decision. I couldn't continue this job. Caleb was fighting his family's arrangements, and Victor had crossed oceans for true love. I couldn't be the one to ruin their story. Money was tempting, but not at the cost of others' happiness. Don't worry, I told Victor. I'll make sure you two stay happy. I fled the office like a fugitive. Caleb rushed in moments later, looking around. Where's Mia? Didn't she come for me? Victor shrugged. She left, saying some weird stuff. He added, I'm flying out tomorrow. Finish the Southeast Asia deal today. Caleb frowned. I know. Victor tilted his head. I'm your only rep in Southeast Asia, right? Caleb scowled. We signed a contract. If I worked with someone else, the penalty would bankrupt me for 10 generations. Victor blinked, confused. Then what was that about? I ran to Starlight's office, eyes red and nose runny. Sarah panicked. Mia, who hurt you? Why are you crying like that? I sobbed into her arms. I'm not human. She laughed. I know you're a beast. I cried harder, spilling the story of Caleb's true love. Sarah went quiet, then asked, Are you crying over losing $8 million or Caleb? I froze. I didn't even know anymore. Sarah sighed. You've fallen for him. I'd lost before I even started. Be careful of high-salary traps, I muttered. Sarah patted my shoulder. So what now? Fight for him or walk away? I whispered, Walk away. Victor's his true love. Sarah hugged me. Whatever you choose, we've got your back. That night, I returned the marriage contract to Mrs. Harper. Thank you for trusting me, but I can't continue. I'm sorry. She looked regretful. Why? I interviewed so many girls, and you were the only one who could handle Caleb. Stay, I'll raise your pay. I shook my head. It's not about money. Caleb loves someone else. Forcing him would only make things worse. Mrs. Harper sighed. Will the Harper line really end with that rebellious boy? I handed back the contract and left, but she pressed a card into my hand. You deserve the consolation payment. I thanked her and moved out of the Harper mansion. Back at my small apartment, Sarah and Matt were in the kitchen, cooking. Today's your Freedom Day, Sarah said, presenting a plate of my favorite tomato braised beef. The smell hit me, and I bolted to the bathroom, retching. Sarah froze. Mia, are you pregnant? I did the math. Highly likely. Sarah sighed. You got pregnant that fast? Super fertile. I shook my head. Don't tell Caleb. I promised Victor I wouldn't ruin their happiness. Sarah clucked her tongue. Fine, keep it secret. What's your plan? I touched my belly, feeling a strange wonder. These are my kids. Maybe 2, 3, or even 4 or 5. It's magical. I'm keeping them. Sarah grabbed my face. Good, no Harpers needed. Starlight will support you. We'll raise them together. Matt peeked in. They might need a dad. I laughed weakly. No thanks, Matt. I can't handle that. Sarah teased. He's a good guy and loves you. I'd known Matt since freshman year. If there were sparks, they'd have ignited by now. I didn't want to burden him with being a reluctant father. That night, my phone buzzed with texts from Caleb. Mia, where are you? I won't get mad anymore. Don't cancel the contract. Send me your location. I'll pick you up. Sarah nudged me. Stop staring at your phone. Look, a shooting star. I turned it off and looked up. Streaks of light trailed across the sky like silver ribbons. I silently wished for Caleb to find everything he wanted in his own world. A month later, I saw Caleb again on a sandy beach in the Mojave Desert. He pulled up in a dusty Jeep, his face unshaven, hair a mess, clothes unwashed for days, and a faint odor clinging to him. Mia, you're good at hiding, he said, eyes red, staring like I'd vanish if he blinked. I swore I wasn't hiding. After confirming my pregnancy, Sarah suggested traveling while I still could, before childbirth tied me down. We drove leisurely 3 hours a day, staying in motels or highway rest stops, living like fugitives. Caleb said, "Come back with me." I stepped back. "No, Caleb, let it go. You said you wanted me to keep you in my heart, but you've got a whole neighborhood in yours. That's not fair." He looked baffled. "Neighborhood? You're the only one in my heart. Don't lie. Victor loves you so much. You think I'm blind? He's not enough, so you dragged me into this to complete your trio?" Caleb explained, "Victor's not my lover. He's my Southeast Asia rep." "You're only one?" Sarah nearby smirked. "Wow, Mia, get your brain checked. That was a big misunderstanding." I couldn't believe it. A guy that gorgeous, and Caleb felt nothing. He stepped closer, his voice tinged with hurt. "That night, I worked till 2 a.m. When I got home, Mom said you'd quit. I searched everywhere. I'm not forcing you to love me. I'll take a contract relationship. Just let me be the only one in it. Seeing you every day is enough." His eyes shimmered like an abandoned puppy. When I didn't respond, he gently hugged me. "Mia, you're my only one." My stomach rebelled, and I vomited 3 feet away. Caleb stared at his empty arms, then at me. "Was that too much?" "I won't say it again." Sarah rolled her eyes. "You two idiots." By noon, Caleb realized the truth, his hands trembling as he touched my belly. "Mia, is there a baby in here?" I laughed. "No, that's my stomach." He kept rubbing, as if scouting for the baby's hideout. Matt snorted. "Like father, like son. With that kind of dad, better find a new one." Caleb rolled up his sleeves. "You've been trying to steal my girl all day." "Back off." Sarah groaned. "Let's go. These two have the maturity of a 10-year-old combined." I nodded, and we took our time driving back to Lincoln City, stopping often. It took 2 weeks. Caleb dragged me to the Harper mansion, but someone blocked us at the gate. "Mia, get out of the car." I obeyed instantly, standing ramrod straight. It was my brother, Tom. Caleb fumed. "Guards, drag this guy out. Who dares yell at my wife?" I grabbed his arm. "Wait, that's my brother." Tom glared. "Why are you back?" I shrank like a scolded kid. Tom had always been the serious one, raising me like a father since our dad passed early. He scolded me worse than a grandparent. Caleb stepped in. "Hey, yell at me, not Mia. She's pregnant and can't handle stress." Tom's voice was ice. "Don't get cozy. We don't know if you'll marry her yet. The foster family can raise her kids without you. Don't think a few cells make you special." Tom dragged me home, and for 6 months I was practically exiled, though still in Lincoln City. Caleb could only visit from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., watched like a hawk by Tom. Mrs. Harper spent 3 months planning a proposal, and it took another 3 for Tom to allow formal gifts. I whispered to him, "Isn't this a bit much?" He glared. "What do you know? Marriage is serious. If they can't handle a little hassle, forget it. Keep loving that Harper boy and stay a foster forever." I shut up. The wedding was set for early spring, coinciding with the baby's first birthday. The ultrasound showed triplet boys. Mrs. Harper spun with joy, finalizing the wedding and planning a grand first birthday party. When the boys were born, my phone pinged with a $15 million transfer. I wanted to leap out of bed. Tom grumbled, "Money doesn't make you special." "This is my hard-earned cash." Before the wedding, Caleb and I registered our marriage. As the red stamp sealed the certificate, he kissed my hand. "After all these years, I finally made it." "Years? Did you mistake me for someone else?" He laughed helplessly, reminding me of when I was 10, lost in Lincoln City after running from a snake. A 15-year-old boy found me crying under a street lamp. "Kid, why are you crying?" I sobbed. "I'm lost and hungry." He huffed. "No big deal. I'll cover it." I perked up. "Taco stand!" He laughed, annoyed. "You've never had real food, have you? Tacos are junk. You'll get sick." But he took me to a taco stand, paid for everything, and didn't eat, looking disgusted. I snuck him a fish taco. He chewed, surprised. Not bad. I beamed. Junk food's delicious. After eating, he took me to the police station. Before parting, I grabbed his sleeve. How do I repay you? He waved it off. I don't need money. I insisted. How do I thank you? He thought for a moment. Be my girlfriend when you grow up. I protested. I'm too young. He grinned. Then we'll settle it later. Back in the present, I gaped. You waited all this time over a childhood promise? Caleb shook his head. I'm not that creepy. But when you reappeared, every detail about you hit my type perfectly. You were my childhood crush, reserved just for me. After the wedding, I gave birth twice more. First, triplet boys before the wedding. Caleb said 3 was enough, but I got pregnant again. Quadruplets, 2 boys and 2 girls, named Mason, River, Pearl, and Ivy. Mrs. Harper kept her promise, wiring $14 million. Caleb begged, 7 kids is enough. But one day at a hot spring, we slipped up and I got pregnant again. Caleb stared at my belly, baffled. Are your ancestors bunnies? How do you get pregnant so easily? Mrs. Harper frowned at my belly, then called Mr. Harper abroad. Get back here. I've spent all my cash on our daughter-in-law. Earn more. 3 more kids are coming, and if I can't pay, I'll sell your antiques. While she was on the phone, the 3 5-year-old boys, Biggie, Mitty, and Littly, tore through the house. Biggie scattered documents, Mitty slid down the banister like a superhero, and Littly climbed a pillar to the ceiling. Mrs. Harper sent 8 guards to wrangle them. Meanwhile, 3-year-olds Mason and River shredded the scattered papers, laughing hysterically. Mrs. Harper sighed. Girls are better. Where are Pearl and Ivy? In the garage, the girls had plastered the cars with rainbow stickers. Mrs. Harper stood silent, then turned to Caleb, growling. Get a vasectomy. I don't need more grandkids. That afternoon, the butler rushed in. Ma'am, a woman outside claims to be Caleb's mistress, pregnant and demanding a place. Caleb swore. I didn't do anything. Mrs. Harper sneered. Tell her to get lost. I've got enough grandkids. If she's bold enough, she can have Caleb. Caleb gaped. Mom, I'm your son. She retorted. When you were my only son, you were special. With 8 grandkids, you're nothing.